The moment Claressa Shields opened her mouth, the internet didn't just react. It detonated. Because this wasn't a calm statement. This wasn't damage control. This was a warning. A direct, chilling, no-holding-back message aimed straight at the storm surrounding Remy Ma. And within seconds, timelines flooded, group chats lit up, and fans realized something terrifying. This drama isn't surface level. It's deep. It's personal. And it's been brewing in silence for way longer than anyone expected. For days. Whispers were circulating cryptic tweets, deleted comments, suspicious unfollows. But nobody had proof. Nobody had confirmation. Until Claressa stepped in and dropped just enough to send everyone spiraling. Not names. Not full details. Just fragments. But those fragments? They hit like bombs. Because insiders are now claiming there are real messages floating behind the scenes. Private conversations that were never meant to be seen. And if even half of what's being hinted at is true, then everything we thought we knew about this situation is about to flip upside down. And here's where it gets even darker. Sources are alleging that this didn't start online. It started face-to-face, a heated exchange. Voices raised, accusations thrown, and someone no one knows who yet pressed record. A secret recording that's now rumored to be circulating in tight circles, with voices that sound unmistakably familiar. One calm but cutting. One emotional and explosive. And the tension. You can feel it through the screen, even without hearing a single second of it. But the most shocking part? Claressa didn't deny anything. She didn't shut it down. Instead, she leaned in, dropping hints that what's out there is only a fraction of the truth. Saying the public has seen barely anything, and just like that, the narrative shifted from gossip to something much bigger. Because now, fans aren't just watching, they're investigating. Digging through old clips, dissecting past interviews, connecting dots that suddenly don't feel so random anymore. And while all eyes are on Claressa, there's one question echoing louder than anything elsewhere is Remy. Because her silence isn't calming the situation, it's making it worse. No statement, no denial, just a chilling absence that has people wondering if she's waiting, watching, planning her next move. Because if Claressa's words were the spark, then what comes next could be the explosion no one is ready for. The fallout didn't simmer, it spiraled out of control the second Claressa Shields hit send on that now viral message. What looked like a vague response at first quickly revealed itself to be something far more targeted, far more intentional. Within minutes, fans weren't just reacting, they were dissecting every word, every pause, every hidden meaning. And somehow, all roads led straight back to Remy Ma. But this wasn't just about two names trending at the same time. This felt coordinated, like pieces of a puzzle were finally being forced into place. Behind the scenes, sources claim chaos erupted almost instantly. Group chats that had been quiet for weeks suddenly lit up with panic. People close to both sides allegedly scrambling, trying to figure out what Claressa knew and, more importantly, what she was about to reveal next. Because, according to one insider, the message she posted wasn't the full statement. It was a preview, a calculated teaser meant to shake the room before the real story dropped. And if that's true, then what's coming next could be far worse than anyone expected. Then came the first leak. Screenshots began circulating blurry at first, easy to dismiss. But as clearer versions surfaced, fans noticed something chilling. The tone, the language, the timing. These weren't random messages. They looked like fragments of a longer, private conversation. In one, a sender allegedly tied to Remy's inner circle seemed to question someone's loyalty, hinting that not everyone playing both sides is doing it quietly. Another message, even more explosive, suggested that someone had been collecting receipts for months. No names were directly mentioned, but the implications were loud enough to shake the entire narrative. And then, just when things couldn't get more intense, a voice note rumor started spreading. Not publicly released, at least not yet, but insiders swear it exists. A recording of a heated exchange with two voices clashing over trust, respect, and betrayal. One voice reportedly calm but cutting, accusing the other of switching energy the moment cameras turn on. The second voice, defensive, emotional, and at one point allegedly saying, "You don't know everything, so don't act like you do." The clip cuts off abruptly, but not before dropping one line that's now being repeated everywhere. "If I talk, it's over for everybody." That single sentence changed everything. Suddenly, this wasn't just drama, it was a ticking clock. Because now the question isn't if more will come out, it's when, and Claressa's latest move only added fuel to that fire. Instead of backing away, she doubled down, posting another cryptic line that read like a direct response to the chaos. "Keep playing with me. I dare you." No explanation, no follow-up. Just a statement that felt less like a warning and more like a challenge. Meanwhile, fans noticed something strange happening on Remy's side. People who had been openly supportive just days ago started going silent. Likes disappeared. Comments were deleted. Even a few longtime associates reportedly distanced themselves publicly, choosing neutrality over involvement. That kind of shift doesn't happen without pressure. And insiders are hinting that pressure is exactly what's building behind the scenes. Because if those leaks are real, then both sides might be sitting on information that could destroy more than just reputations. And then came the twist nobody expected. A second batch of screenshots surfaced, but this time, they didn't seem to favor Claressa. In fact, they raised uncomfortable questions. In these messages, someone allegedly connected to Claressa's camp appeared to be venting frustration about being misrepresented and left out of decisions. Another line hinted at internal tension, suggesting that not everyone on her side was aligned. If authentic, it paints a completely different picture where the situation isn't just Claressa versus Remy, but a web of conflicting loyalties and hidden agendas. That's when the internet split. Half the audience doubled down in support of Claressa, convinced she's exposing something real. The other half started questioning everything, wondering if this entire situation is being carefully controlled, with selective leaks shaping the narrative piece by piece. And right in the middle of that divide, one detail stood out more than anything else. Neither Claressa nor Remy has directly denied the existence of these messages or recordings. Silence can be louder than words. And as speculation reached a boiling point, another rumor slipped through the cracks, one that suggests this situation might not be isolated. According to a source claiming to have inside knowledge, this conflict is connected to something bigger. A previous disagreement, a moment that never went public, something that allegedly happened months ago but was quietly buried. Until now, the source didn't provide proof, but they did drop one line that has fans on edge. This isn't the first time. It's just the first time people are paying attention. Now, every old clip, every shared appearance, every interaction between Claressa and Remy is being reanalyzed under a microscope. What once looked friendly now feels forced. What once felt genuine now seems calculated. And if that perception continues to grow, it could change how both of them are seen moving forward. But just as the internet started to think it had a handle on the situation, something unexpected happened. A post quickly deleted but captured by multiple accounts appeared from someone rumored to be extremely close to Remy. It wasn't long, just a few words. But those words hit hard. Y'all really trusting the wrong storyteller. No tags, no names. But the message was clear enough to send shockwaves through the conversation, because if that's true, if the story being told isn't the full truth, then who's controlling the narrative? And more importantly, what are they hiding? As the tension builds and both sides remain strategically silent, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. There's still something out there that hasn't been revealed. Something bigger than tweets, bigger than screenshots, bigger than rumors. Something that both sides seem to be circling without directly confronting. And according to multiple insiders, that something might be a full, unedited recording, one that doesn't cut off before the most important part. One that allegedly contains names, details, and statements that could flip the entire situation in an instant. The only question now is, who's going to release it first? And just when it felt like the storm couldn't possibly intensify, everything snapped again. The silence from Remy Ma, same silence that had people guessing, speculating, even defending, suddenly started to feel less like hesitation and more like strategy. Because insiders began whispering that she wasn't ignoring the chaos. She was studying it, watching every reaction, tracking every leak, waiting for the exact moment to strike back. Meanwhile, Claressa Shields wasn't slowing down. If anything, her energy shifted. The tone of her posts, the timing, the precision, it all started to feel intentional, almost surgical. And then came the moment that changed everything. A late-night upload that stayed up, just long enough to be captured before disappearing. It wasn't a full video. It wasn't even clear footage. Just a dark screen, muffled audio, and two voices. But those voices? Fans swear they recognize them instantly. The clip begins mid-conversation, tense, sharp, already heated. One voice, calm but cutting, says, "You keep acting like you don't know what you did." The other voice fires back instantly, louder, emotional, "Because you're twisting it. You always twist it." There's a pause. A long one. Then a third voice unexpected cuts in, low and urgent. "Both of y'all need to chill before this gets out." And just like that, the clip ends. Three voices. That's when the narrative shattered, because until that moment, people thought this was a two-sided conflict. Claressa versus Remy. Clear lines, clear tension. But that third voice? It introduced a new possibility. Someone else is involved. Someone who knows everything. Someone who might have been there from the beginning, watching both sides, hearing everything, and now, possibly holding the key to the entire truth within minutes. Timelines exploded again. Hashtags multiplied. Fan theories went from wild to borderline investigative journalism. People started matching tones, comparing speech patterns, digging through old live streams and interviews trying to identify that third voice. Names started getting thrown around, some believable, some completely out of nowhere. But one thing was clear. Whoever that third person is, they didn't want the truth getting out. And that raised a dangerous question. What exactly are they trying to protect? Because as the clip spread, another wave of alleged leaks followed right behind it. This time, longer messages. More detailed, harder to ignore. In one exchange, someone again, identity unclear, to describe a situation where lines got crossed and things went too far to fix quietly. Another message suggests there was an agreement, understanding between people involved that certain information would never go public, ever. And yet, here it is, unraveling in real time. Then came the emotional shift. Up until now, this had felt like strategy, like calculated moves and controlled leaks, but suddenly cracks started to show. A live session brief, chaotic and quickly ended, featured someone who many believe is connected to Claressa's circle. The person looked overwhelmed, voice shaking, repeatedly saying, "This is getting out of hand. This is not what was supposed to happen." No names, no confirmations. But the fear, it felt real, raw, unscripted. That moment changed the energy because now it didn't just feel like drama anymore. It felt like something spiraling beyond control. Like whatever started this wasn't meant to go this far. But now, nobody can stop it. And just as the tension hit its peak, Remy Ma finally moved. Not with a statement, not with a denial, but with something far more calculated to post. A single image, black background, white text, and a caption that instantly froze the internet. "I kept quiet out of respect." Don't mistake that for weakness. No tags, no explanation. But the timing? Perfect. Almost like she had been waiting for the exact moment the pressure would peak before stepping in. And it worked, because just like that, the narrative shifted again. People who had been firmly on Claressa's side started hesitating. That post didn't sound offensive. It sounded confident, controlled. Like someone who knows more than they're saying. And that's when a new theory began to spread. What if Remy has her own evidence? What if she's been holding on to something this entire time? That theory gained traction fast when a new rumor surfaced, one that hasn't been confirmed, but refuses to die. According to multiple anonymous sources, there's another recording. Not the one that's been teased. Not the one with 3 voices. A different one. Longer, clearer, and allegedly far more damaging. This recording, they claim, contains a full conversation, names included, details unfiltered, and statements that could completely flip public perception in seconds. And here's the most chilling part. Both sides are aware of it. That's why the moves feel so careful. That's why the words are so measured. Because at any moment, that recording could drop, and whoever loses control of the narrative when it does, might not recover from it. Now, behind the scenes, things are reportedly reaching a breaking point. People are choosing sides quietly. Alliances are shifting. Conversations are happening in private that may never be exposed, but their impact is already being felt. Because the silence between posts, it's not empty, it's loaded, it's tense, it's the calm before something much bigger. And right now, nobody knows who's going to make the next move. Will Claressa go all in and release everything she has, risking total fallout just to prove her point? Or will Remy strike first, dropping whatever she's been holding on to and rewriting the entire story in one move? Or worse, will that mysterious third voice step forward and expose them both? Because if there's one thing this situation has made clear, it's this: nobody is fully in control anymore. And just when it seemed like the night might end without another shock, a final message appeared, anonymous, unverified, but spreading faster than anything before it. Midnight. Everything drops. No context. No source. Just a time, and if that message is real, then whatever happens next won't just be another update. It'll be the moment. Everything finally explodes. If you've been watching this unfold and thinking you've seen it all, think again. What's happening right now between Claressa Shields and Remy Ma is shifting by the minute, and the next drop could flip the entire story upside down. This isn't the kind of situation you casually check back on later. This is the kind where if you blink, you miss the detail that changes everything. The leaks, the silence, the timing. None of it feels random anymore. And if even half of these rumors are real, then what's coming next could be the moment everyone looks back on and says, "That's when it all blew up." So don't just sit on the sidelines while everyone else connects the dots. Be part of it. Hit like right now if you felt the tension, if you caught the hidden messages, if you see that this is bigger than what's being shown. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is wide open and every theory could be the one that cracks it. Who's telling the truth? Who's hiding something? And what do you think happens when that rumored final piece finally surfaces? And most importantly, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because when the next leak hits, when that recording drops, when one of them finally goes all in, you do not want to hear about it late. You want to be here the second it happens, before the narrative gets twisted, before the truth gets buried again. This isn't just content anymore. This is a live unraveling. And trust what's coming next. You won't believe it unless you see it the moment it drops. You won't believe it unless you see it the moment it drops.